let us begin. Before I begin, I just want to see the response of the pre-assessment. Okay, so C programming, I think you are on the average side. HTML, many of you already know HTML. It's a good thing. CSS, you're less familiar. Okay. JavaScript, less familiar. SQL, okay. Now here there is a problem. Have you completed database management in your second year? Okay. Okay. No problem. So then, okay. So many of you have done courses on this. Very good. Okay. And almost all of you have access to a computer. Extremely good. Okay. So let us begin. So the reason why I asked you this is so that I understand what all things, you already know and how fast or how slow I should go. Okay. Now it is clear that HTML, many of you know, right? So I will try to take it in a way so that others will also understand who does not know. And at the same time, we will have a different approach this time so that you understand this subject very well. Okay, because this subject is very important. Okay, now the reason why this subject is important is you must already be knowing that this subject is that type of a skill which if you learn, then you can always start your own company only based on this. Okay, so there are no all these Infosys, all these big companies, they all work on, they all started with something like this, basically a web platform, and they have become such a big companies, right? So basically this subject, if you get into the subject very well, then obviously you have industry scope. Okay. And also you have an entrepreneurship scope where you can start your own startup with the help of these techniques. Okay. So let us begin. The name of the subject that we are going to learn is Web Design Lab. My name is Shiburaj. I think you must be knowing. So let's begin with the subject. So as usual, we will first see why we should learn this subject. I have already told you a little bit about this. Let's see what all things we are going to learn in this particular subject. Okay. First of all, we are going to learn how to create web pages using HTML and CSS. That's the basic funda of our subject. Okay. Now, only with this, it will not be that much helpful unless you're creating a profile page or something, right? Because if you want to start building bigger apps, then obviously you need to have knowledge of some programming languages, right? One is you should have a knowledge of JavaScript, which is a client side language. And another is you should have the knowledge of server side languages, that in this case, we are going to learn PHP. Okay. So basically we are going to learn 5 things. Okay. So the fourth objective is the most important, for which you will have the maximum job opportunities out there. Okay. And let me tell you the fourth one, we are going to study Laravel framework. Okay. Now this is very important because there are very less, Laravel developers and lot of job opportunities in Laravel, right? So if you understand this, it will be a very good, your good field to go into. Okay. So basically you're going to learn 5 things: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and finally we are going to learn Laravel. Okay. Another important thing we're going to learn is XML, and one additional thing that I'm going to include is called JSON. Okay. Because XML is now uh, not used as much as compared to JSON. So I'm going to include that also in this course. Okay. So let us see what will you learn, what will be the outcome of this course after you learn this entire subject. Obviously, the outcomes are the same. Basically, we are going to understand in today's lecture, in this today's lecture, we are going to see what is web, how the World Wide Web originated and how it works. Okay, so that is the first thing that we're going to study, and that is your first chapter. Okay, so here we are going to study about the various protocols that are there in the web. Then we are going to start with HTML5 and CSS3 in the next part. Okay, then after that we will start with JavaScript and jQuery, very important. Then we are going to start with PHP. Okay, hypertext preprocessor. That is a very wonderful language, and if you know C programming, then it would be very easy to understand. And if you do not know, then also it is fine. I'm going to start from scratch, so don't worry. Then we are going to learn about MySQL. Okay, and if you are aware of databases, then it would be easier, but it will not matter much, because I have understood accordingly. I will teach so that you don't have to worry about knowing MySQL beforehand. Okay, then we are going to learn something about XML and its style sheets. Okay, so this we will do at the second last chapter, and the last chapter that we're going to do is the framework. Okay, so this is my favorite, that is the Laravel framework. And if you have seen any of my apps, then almost all the apps I make nowadays is based on Laravel. Okay, so we will learn this in the towards the end, because I cannot directly start this unless I can unless you know all the above things. Okay, so let's begin. So what is the scheme of your subject? Okay, so basically there are no exams for this. I mean, there are no theory exams for this. You will have a term work of 25 marks and oral or practical of 25 marks, total of 50 marks. Okay. Then what are the prerequisites? Now I have added SQL, but it's not mandatory. Neither is C mandatory. If you have the knowledge of both these things, it would be better. Okay. Let's go to the syllabus part quickly. Okay. So the first chapter, as I've already said, the first chapter is Introduction to the World Wide Web. Okay. So here we are going to learn different protocols like HTTP protocol, SMTP protocol, POP3 and FTP. Okay, so these protocols we may not be able to finish today. So in the next lecture, we will see the protocols, but we will start with the World Wide Web today. The module 2, we will be learning HTML and CSS. Now in your syllabus, there are very limited number of tags that you have to learn, but we will try to cover many of them, which are very, very important. Okay. Then the most important is the CSS. Okay. So only HTML will not help you in developing good websites. Okay. So CSS is where the entire magic happens. Okay. So you design. So basically HTML and CSS, it's like a unfinished building. And once you do all the decoration and the painting and all the furniture, everything is placed, how the building looks, that is what CSS looks like. Okay, so basically if you design a website purely based on HTML, it will not look that good. Okay, so once you use CSS to style your web page, that is when your web page starts taking shape. Okay, so next is JavaScript. Now as we study the languages, that is HTML and CSS, you will understand that they don't have they don't have a feature of programming inside them. So automating certain things is very difficult, right? So that's why JavaScript was introduced as the client side scripting language. Okay, so we are going to learn this. Along with that, we are going to learn something about Ajax and jQuery also. Now jQuery is a framework of JavaScript. It was the very famous framework at that time, but right now there are a lot of different frameworks that are more popular than jQuery. So but we don't have that in syllabus, but I will try to cover those things if possible. Okay. Next, server-side programming, very important. This is where everything starts. If you this particular subject is all based on this particular part. Okay, so if you understand PHP, then you can create apps which are actually functioning. Okay, so it is this particular subject, this particular chapter will be very important for you. Also, to understand Laravel, you have to understand PHP first, because Laravel is a framework of PHP. Okay. Then we are going to the module number 5 is about XML and its styling. Okay, how you can create websites using XML and style it. So it is same like HTML, but the tags that are there, it is not fixed. You can decide the tags based on your choice. Okay. And the last one is the main part, that is the framework, that is the Laravel framework. Okay. And why the university people have introduced this subject, or basically this particular module in your syllabus, you can understand this, that this framework is just been there for around, let's say 5 years, 5 or 6 years. Okay. And it has become so popular that this is not the only framework that was there in PHP. There were so many frameworks. In fact, the PHP language was designed by Zend. Okay. And they also have something called a Zend framework. Even that is not as famous as Laravel. Okay. So you can understand there are a lot of different frameworks that are there, but now if you search the internet, which is the popular PHP framework, then Laravel will be the one that pops up. Okay. So that's why this particular chapter is there in your syllabus. So these are some of the books that are there. Okay. So Ralph Mosley, Developing Web Applications, then Web Technology Black Book, then Learning PHP, MySQL, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML by O'Reilly Publications, and Professional Rich Internet Applications. Okay. Now these are all the textbooks that are there. Now, if you want to find out in-depth knowledge of these subjects, then you can refer these textbooks. And these are the reference books that are mentioned in your syllabus. Again, you can use these if you want to get an in-depth knowledge. Okay. Now let's quickly cover what experiments we are going to take. Okay. So the first experiment obviously will be to set up a web server. Okay. So that will be the first one. Second, we are going to create a simple web page using only HTML, no CSS. Okay. Now the third one will be using both CSS and HTML. Then you are going to add form validation. Okay. Basically using forms in HTML and validating the forms using, now as soon as form validation comes into picture, there will be JavaScript coming into picture, right? Then we are going to start with PHP, where we are going to design a simple web page using PHP. Okay. Then we are going to develop a web page with PHP and MySQL. Okay. Then we are going to start, we are going to have one experiment on XML web page design. Okay. And then the 8th one is where it starts to become serious, where we actually start implementing good projects, right? Here we are going to start, I'm going to teach you what is Ajax and how to use Ajax with PHP. Okay. Then finally, this is where we are going to host your website onto a hosting server. Okay. So this entire process, I'm going to teach you how to create a domain, how to host it, and etc. Okay. So all these things will be covered in the 9th one. And finally, in the 10th one, we will be having a a simple web application on Laravel. That will be your 10th experiment. And if you look at the term work distribution, the lab assignments will be of 10 marks. Okay. So as I've shown you before, total is 25 marks in the term work, right? So out of that, lab assignments is of 10 marks, mini project is of 10 marks, and attendance of 5 marks, right? Now lab assignments, 10 marks for 10 experiments. So each experiment has 1 mark. And mini project, now this is the very important part which we are going to do it, where everybody has to come up with a innovative idea and build an Laravel based app. Okay, build a Laravel based app for the mini project. Okay, so basically this is what we are going to do in the mini project. So I'm already giving you an idea that towards the end you can you have to start making an app which will be based on Laravel. Okay. And another important thing that we are going to do is we are going to adopt something called as project-based learning. Okay. Now in the lab assignments, now usually what happens is we directly give you a we will give you a task, and you all will be uploading the same thing again and again, right? So I don't want that. Basically I will be giving you the task and I want to see your take on that task. Okay, so basically how you think, or basically let's say I give you a web page to design and I want to see how different you can create your website. Okay, I don't want the same website to be submitted by multiple people. Okay, so basically every experiment will be like a project. Okay, so this is called as a project based learning. Okay, and this is not mandatory. Okay, all those who are those who want to be good in this particular subject, I will be uploading small projects that you have to complete on time and submit it, and it is completely optional. Okay, so because many of you may be having some issues with the computers, or you may not be having computers, but others can study from the lectures, from my lectures. But just by looking at the lectures, this subject will not do any good to you, because this is more like a hands-on subject where you have to do something, otherwise you are not going to understand. Okay, so for every subject I will try to explain you how to every experiment I will try to explain you how to do the things, and I will show you one example from my side, and then I want to see what new things you can do in that particular experiment. Okay, so that is about the term work distribution. Now these are some of the resources that we are going to use, or not we, you all can use other than the books. Okay, so if anybody is interested in going ahead and learning, then these are some of the resources from where I have learned few years back. In fact, I have learned Laravel from their documentation and this website called laracast.com. Okay, so you can note, I will be sharing this website with you, this PPT with you. You can take a note of that. So that is it about the syllabus overview. Okay, now I would like to see if there are any queries. Okay, if there are any queries, you can let me know. I will just wait for a few minutes. Okay, so Shaista Sheikh, she's asking, sir, subject is regarding web development or app development? Okay, so basically this subject is completely on web development only. Okay, so it has nothing to do with app development. But if you have attended my webinar on JavaScript, you must have understood that if you know JavaScript, then definitely you can create mobile apps also. Okay, and in fact, we were planning to have a separate course on cross-platform web mobile app development. So we will see when we can have that, but for that you should know JavaScript beforehand. Okay, any other questions? If it's difficult to type the questions, then you can always unmute yourself and ask the question. Is there a group project? Okay, very good question, Sumit Kumar. Actually, I forgot to tell you, this is a group project, mini project. In fact, all the projects that will be there, it is based, it's a group project. Okay, so that is the difference between the experiments and the mini project. Okay, experiments are individual. Okay, so everybody has to do it on their own, whereas mini project is group based. Okay, so you can make a group of 3 students each. I will be floating a form by the end of the week. You can create your groups, and you have to have minimum 2 or maximum 3 members in a group. Okay, let me check if that is correct. Okay, I don't think. So as such, the limitations are not mentioned. So it is going to be minimum 2 and maximum 3 students in a group. Okay. So any other questions? Yes. Sir, how will we be submitting the experiments? Okay, Tahir Pathan, very good. I was going to discuss this. It's good that you have asked. Now, how are we going to submit the experiments? Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put assignments. Basically, you're going to use GitHub. Okay, have you heard about GitHub? I think most of you must have heard about GitHub, right? Yes. Okay. So, do you know how to use GitHub? Okay, cool. So, okay. So it's better I should ask, is there anyone who does not know how to use GitHub? If you do not know, just type no in the chat box. Okay. Okay, cool. So that will be our first course that is to learn GitHub. Okay. Now, for a developer, okay, for any developer, let it be PHP developer, web developer, or in fact Python, Perl, or Java, any developer, Git is absolutely important. Okay, there is no running away from the Git. And if you go to an industry and if you say I don't know Git, then that's it, your impression is down there itself. Okay, so you have to understand and use Git. So what I'm going to do is, this week on the Thursday's value added course, we will have a Git session on Git. Okay, so I will hope everyone to attend that. Okay, and we will see how to use Git and publish your own Git repositories. Okay. So if anybody's, I understood many of you do not know. Okay. So we will clear that how to use Git, and we will be using Git here for submitting your projects. Okay. Now, again, I told you this is optional, or this is only to see to it that you know this subject better. Okay. And this subject is only possible to learn when you practice it. Okay. So that's why I'm going to, I'm adopting this particular method of project-based learning. Okay. So it is, again, I'm just letting you know, because I know many of the students will be thinking, I don't have a computer. How will I solve, how will I do this? Right. So that is why I'm telling you, this is not mandatory. This is just so that you can understand it better. Okay. So there will be 10 projects. Okay. So that you have to create, and one mini project that will be there at the end, which will be group based. Okay. What is mandatory for everyone is to attempt the quiz at the end of every week. Okay. So that is where, that is what is mandatory. Okay. So you cannot run away from that. But other than that, if you want to learn the subject better, then I would request everybody to attempt the projects. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Tahir Pathan. Sir, would we be learning HTML5? Okay, so I think I have shown the PPTs, right? So there, it was the second module, that is that is completely based on HTML5 and CSS3. Okay, so obviously this subject will not be complete without learning HTML5 and CSS3. Okay, so it is mandatory. Nobody from the web world, okay, anybody who wants to design a website has to know HTML. There is no alternative to that. Okay, so all the websites out there are built on HTML, whether the backend is on PHP, ASP, JSP, anything, Python, whatever is there. But at the front, you will always see HTML. Okay, there is no alternative to that. Okay. Okay, so we will not be learning JavaScript ES6, but a little bit of object-oriented programming we will be learning. Okay, it will be too much advanced to start with ES6 directly. So we'll be learning the basics in this particular course, and the advanced we can take it at a later stage in a different course. Okay. Any other queries? Okay, I think, okay. So there are no more queries. Now we will finish this first session over here. Okay, till the time others join, I will just show you this app that I've created. This is called Dispy. Okay, and this presentations that we are going to see, all these presentations I've created using this app. Okay, so this entire website is made using Laravel. Okay, so you can see all the presentations that I've created. So each project is one presentation. So this is the current presentation that we are going to see, right? So web design lab lecture 2. And you can see how I add slides to my presentation. Okay, so here are on the right side, I have all my slides, and these are all the slides that are visible to on the PPT. Okay, so basically I just have to drag it from here and put it over here. Okay, and then save it. So this is how the page looks like. Okay, I just opened this because I forgot to add the footer. Okay, so now if I refresh, yes. Okay, should we start? Okay. So let's begin with the first module, that is World Wide Web. Okay, so introduction to the World Wide Web. Now, what is the World Wide Web and how all this internet thing has evolved? That is what we are going to see over here. Okay. So what is World Wide Web? Okay, so as per Wikipedia, World Wide Web, commonly known as the web, is an information system where documents or other web resources are identified by URLs, okay, which may be interlinked by hypertext and are accessible over the internet. Okay. Now, what this particular statement tells you that World Wide Web is a place where there are information which you can browse. Okay. So basically this entire net was created to share informations with each other, right? Now to share the information, every information needs to have a location, right? So that's why in the internet world, we have something called as uniform resource locators, which is nothing but the location where your content is there. Please, everybody. Okay. So let's continue. Now, the last part, which last line of this particular paragraph, it says, which may be interlinked by hypertext and are accessible over the internet. Okay. So all these things which are highlighted are very important to understand. Okay. So World Wide Web was there only when the internet was already there. Okay. That means when the World Wide Web was introduced, the internet technology was already there. What do you mean by the internet? Internet means there was a system where the computers could talk to each other. Okay. So that networking was already there. Okay. But there was no www, that means World Wide Web. Basically, there were no web pages, nothing. Okay. So basically, at that particular time, there were only the computers were only able to communicate with each other, but there were no websites as such. Okay. So then who did all these things? Okay. Now, before we go to that, I would like to tell you something about hypertext. Okay. So what is a hypertext? Okay. Is it different from a normal text? Yes, it is different. Hypertext means it is much more than a normal text. A normal text, you can open it, read it, but there will not be anything else like your notepad. Okay. So in the notepad, you will see you cannot have images. You cannot have links to other uh, images, videos, or anything else like other pages, etc. So all those things were not possible in a normal text. That's why something called as hypertext was introduced, where you can have images, you can have text which can be used to locate other text. Okay, so that's why it is called as hypertext. Okay, now this term was not invented because of the World Wide Web. This was already there. If you remember dictionaries, okay, we used to have dictionaries, and there, if you want to find out the information of any particular term, then you would click on that particular term and it will go to the particular page. Okay, so that from there this concept of hypertext came into picture. Okay, so two things to understand is hypertext is not a normal text, and second, World Wide Web was developed on top of the internet. Okay, so now who developed this? Who invented the World Wide Web, or basically the protocol that runs the internet? Okay, so it was by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, so this person has invented this particular World Wide Web. Okay, he was a genius of his time. Now, how many of you have heard about CERN? Any person has heard about? Okay, cool. I find two people know about CERN, right? Others are not aware of CERN. Now, CERN uh, became, it is already very famous, but it was known to only the scientists. Okay, in the scientist community. But then, if you are a fan of the Big Bang Theory, then you must be knowing about the Hadron Collider and the CERN, etc. Right? So that is when the CERN became famous among even the common people. Okay, so the Hadron Collider or the particle accelerator, all these things was developed over there. Right? Now this CERN facility, this is basically a research facility, right? And the scientists over there, they don't work over there full time. Okay, so they are scientists, they are professors from different universities around 120 countries. Okay, so they are all at different places, and they meet at certain time to discuss their research findings and all these things, right? So the problem at that time was, because not everyone was there, not all the scientists were there in the CERN facility itself. So the research was taking a lot of time because the sharing of the information didn't happen that regularly. So this genius, Tim Berners-Lee, what he's decided is, I would create a network. Basically not a network, the network was already there. He will create a software which will help them to browse, to share their research to with the scientist. Okay, so basically that was the vision with which he started the development. Okay, so what was his first task was to create basically a language which can be, which can handle hypertext, not a normal text. That at that time everything was in a simple text file. So to search anything, it was very difficult. But then he decided, let's convert everything into an hypertext and let's link everything together. So he created his first website, web browser, where that web browser could read the HTML pages and display it to the users. Okay, now the browser was ready, but the problem was that was working only on his computer. Right? Now if somebody else in the remote place wants to view that particular page, how will he view it? Okay, agreed he has the internet, but he cannot, what he can do is install the browser, download the file from the other person and view it, right? So that was the option there, right? So that time he thought this is a bit difficult, right? Every time if he wants to download the web page and then open in the browser, that will be very difficult, right? So what he said, let's make another server, another software which will act as a web server. Okay, so now that is the standard in which our web World Wide Web works. Okay, so our World Wide Web works based on two things. The first one is the client, that is your browser, and the second one is where your HTML pages are hosted, that is your web server. So both these things are very important to view your web pages. Okay, so he has created this web server as well as the web browser, and he was using the Next computers, and because he that time the CERN facility only had Next computers, so the server used to work only on those computers, right? Then slowly researchers started building web browsers which can be run on any operating system. So they started creating different web browsers, interdependent web browsers, and in fact people even started making different versions of the web servers. Okay, and right now the most popular web server out there is either Apache or Nginx. Okay, and we can also use Node to host a web server. So let's look at the various components with which the web is made. Okay, now it is made of three things basically. Okay, first of all, there is something called as HTML. Okay, now many times students get confused that HTML and HTTP both are same. Okay, but it is not. It is completely different. HTML is the markup language. HTTP is the protocol. Okay, now what is the difference between a protocol and the language? Okay, now hypertext language, or basically HTML, is basically it's a language in which your text file is going to be stored. Okay, so most of you must be knowing the HTML language very well. Okay, but HTTP is the protocol used to transfer these files. Okay, so between the web server, because the HTML file is stored on the web server and you want to see the file on your browser, that is on the client. So how to transfer this HTML file from the server to the client? It is with the help of the HTTP protocol. Okay, so that is why HTTP is very important to understand. You will never actually use HTTP directly because your browser and your web server is doing the behind the scenes action to handle HTTP. All you will be learning in this subject will be how to create HTML files. Okay, now we understand what is HTML, or we understand what is a protocol, HTTP, right? But what is the URI then? Okay, so basically URI is the identifier given to the particular so URI is the identifier given to a particular resource. Okay, so like for example, my website is there, shiburaj.com. Okay, so I have two pages. One is index.html, another is my contact info, that is contact.html, right? So these two information will have two different URIs, right? So these two different URIs will help us exactly pinpoint which resource I want to access. Okay, Okay, let's move ahead. Now, the very important question is, how does the web work? Okay. Okay. So now, before going ahead, I would just like to see the chat. I found some questions. Okay. So the first question was by Zaid Khan. In group project, can we use web frameworks such as React? Okay. So for me, yes, I would love to see some web frameworks like React or Vue.js or Angular, or in fact, even jQuery will do, right? And I would even like to see, some CSS frameworks like Foundation, Bootstrap, or Quasar, or any such frameworks. I would like to see uh, people using any such framework. Uh, but in the experiments, you cannot use that. Okay. So in the experiments, everything should be purely HTML, CSS, and whatever is the subject, whatever is the topic of that particular subject. I'm sorry, that particular aim of that particular topic, that has to be maintained. Like for example, if the in the second experiment, if the if it says you have to create a web page using HTML5, then there you cannot use CSS or any Bootstrap or anything. Okay, so in the lab part, you should not use all these things. Okay. Next part, again, Zaid Khan is asking, sir, which API you used for text in this app? I didn't understand the question. Zaid, can you be clear? Okay. I don't know what your exact question is. This has nothing. Are you talking about the Dispy site that I've showed you? Okay, so this this website, that is Dispy. This is made using Laravel, but the framework, that is the framework with which this PPT is getting displayed. It is with the help of pure HTML and CSS only. There is no latex or anything. I have used a framework. It's called Reveal JS. It's a very popular web framework. Okay, so you can see this is the framework because of which this website is possible. Okay, that means these PPTs are possible. Basically, I'm collecting the data and showing it to the users. Okay, there is no latex involved in this particular project. Okay, so till here, any doubts? Okay, so let's continue and let's look at how the internet works. Okay. So let's begin. Let's say what I wanted to show you is actual, I want you to understand how the internet actually works. Okay. Now this thing will be familiar to many of you. So if you know it, then it's a very good thing. If you don't, you can just, okay, is there any, okay, so another question is, which language is more popular for server side, Python or PHP? Okay, now obviously it is Python and not PHP. But many of the websites are built using PHP and various frameworks. Okay, but there are websites for Python also, using Python also. In fact, there are many websites which on the the basic website is made using PHP, but on the back end, all this image processing techniques, like for example, let's say you are uploading a picture on Facebook, and automatically the faces are detected. All these things are done using, and in the backend it will be done using Python. Okay, so you can use it in conjunction with each other. Okay, it is not that you can only use Python or you can only use PHP. Okay, so now to do this, if you want to use both of these languages, there has to be some way to interchange data with each other, right? So for that, that is the reason why I'm going to take JSON in this particular course, because JSON and XML, both of these things are used to interchange data. Okay, and someone has just raised the hand. Who is that? Yes, Shadia. Shadia, any queries? Okay. Hussein Painter, is Java used on server side? Yes, yes. So Java can be used on server side. It is called JSP, Java Server Pages. You can use that also. Sir, will we be learning complete full stack development? Yes, yes, we are going to learn complete full stack development. Any other queries? Okay. So let's begin with our next part. It's a very important part that you should understand is how our internet works. Okay. So basically, let's suppose you have a, so this is your computer. So so this is your client, and here you will be having a, sorry, my pad is not working. Okay, so this is my server. Okay, so my client and this is my server, and obviously this client will be web client, that is web browser, and this will be a web server. Okay, now I want, there is an HTML file over here. Let's call it index.html. Okay, so this file is there. I want to transfer this to the client. Basically, the client wants to see this file. So how this data comes from the server to the client? Okay, so basically, let's say this is Google. Okay, the web server is Google and it is situated in US, and you are in India. So how will the data from US come to India? So basically, then that means you should have a connection between, you should have an internet connection between the client and the server, right? And if you have an valid internet connection, then obviously you can connect. And if you see how your internet connection works, you will take an internet connection from an ISP. So this is, let's say, the router of the ISP. So this is your ISP, and you take internet connection from them. Then this ISP takes an internet connection from someone else. Okay, so there they take it from someone else. Then they have someone else in between, and finally the Google may also be taking the internet service from some ISP. right? And finally, they are connected together like this. Okay. So this is the path in between the client and the server. Okay. So basically these computers that are there, they are called proxies. Okay. Proxies or gateways, right? So these things are called. Okay. So we have 10 minutes left. Let's quickly finish. So basically these are called proxies. So what happens is whenever you connect to the internet, okay, so whenever you connect to the internet, you will have something called as IP address. Okay. And this IP address will be unique in your network. Okay. So you are unique in this particular network, but to connect to the internet, you need something called as an ISP, or basically you need something called as gateway. Okay. So without a gateway in your computer, you can never connect to the internet. Okay. So basically gateway is nothing but it's like a door to the internet. So I can say that this is my internet, right? So if this is my internet, then gateway is the gateway to the internet, right? Similarly, here also, Google will also have a gateway to the internet, right? Next. Okay. Before I forget, oh, is the screen frozen? Okay, okay. Just a minute. I will just stop the share. Is it visible now? Okay, okay, cool. So I will just undo everything, okay, so that you can understand it. Okay, so let's begin again. So I have just created this particular, okay, before I forget, I would ask everybody to write their name and roll number in the chat box. Huh? So everybody is requested to do that. Okay, so basically in this particular situation, this entire thing that is here, this is your internet, right? And to connect to the internet, your client that is here, this is you. Okay, so this particular part is you, and this is the Google's website, okay, web server. So to connect to the internet, you need to take internet from an ISP or internet service provider. Okay, it can be your cable operator or it can be your mobile phone operator. Okay, maybe Tata Docomo, sorry, Jio or anything, right? So that they will provide you a gateway for your PC, right? So basically every PC should, as soon as you connect to the ISP, you will get something called as IP address. This will be there in more detail in your CN subject. And you also get something called as gateway. Okay. Now this IP address and this gateway, these are important because if you do not have an IP address, then the server cannot return back to you. Okay. You cannot, the server cannot come return the files back to you. If you do not have a gateway, then obviously you cannot go out of the network. Okay. So ISP without the internet, it will not work. Okay. So these two things are very important in every computer. Without this, your internet will not work. Okay. So now let's suppose you have a IP address, you have a gateway, you connected to the internet, right? Now to connect to the internet, obviously you will need the IP address of the server. Okay. So let's suppose the server's IP address is 8.8.8.8. Okay. So this you will enter it inside your web browser. So it goes to the web server. The web server returns you back the data. Okay. It's very simple. But do you think you can remember IP addresses of each and every web server? I don't think it's possible, right? So that's why it was introduced, a new technology was introduced. It's called DNS. Okay. So DNS stands for domain name systems or domain name servers, right? So DNS, what it does is, it is very difficult for human beings to remember numbers. Okay. So, yeah, but it is very easy for them to remember names. Okay. So that's why all the IP addresses will be now converted into domain names. Okay. So this will now be, let's say, this will be now google.com, right? So what the user that is here on the web server knows is, I know google.com, but I do not know what google.com corresponds to, or what is the IP address of google.com. That I do not know, right? So but this entire communication is based on IP address and not domain name, right? So then there has to be someone who converts this google.com to IP address to start this communication. So for that, there is something called as, so here there will be another server called DNS. Okay, it can be there in every router. So let's suppose the DNS is right here. So what happens is, you will type google.com on this particular PC. Now this particular PC does not know the IP address of google.com. So what it will do is, instead of going directly to the Google, it will first go to DNS, get the IP back, and now after that it will communicate to the Google server. Okay, so that is how your communication happens. So the three things required for any computer to work on the internet is IP address, gateway, and DNS. Okay, so these three things every computer should have. Okay, now just to show you that whether I have it or not, I will just open my, just let me stop share again and share my screen. Okay, let me just open my network adapter. Okay, so this is my network adapter. You can see I can check my adapter options. These are my adapters that are there. I can see the status, and in the status can check the details. Now this is very important. You can see I have an IP address, right? I have a default gateway, and I also have a DNS server. Okay, so these are the three minimum things that are required for the internet to work, right? There are also some other things like subnet mask, then DHCP server. These all will be explained in your networking subject. For WDL, all you have to understand is there are three addresses that you should understand. Mainly, you should understand this particular thing, that is DNS. So DNS is very important for us in this particular subject. Okay, DNS server. Basically, DNS, what it does is it converts your domain name to IP address and vice versa. Okay, I hope you have understood this. Let me just quickly finish up my slides. So this is the protocol that we are going to see. This we will cover in detail in the next chapter. Okay. I think the remaining things are to be covered in the next chapter. Okay. So we have 1 minute left. Any queries? If there are, you can always ask in the forum in the Moodle. We have I will be starting a forum in the Moodle itself. If there are any queries in between, you can ask there, or you can personally WhatsApp me and ask your queries. Okay.